Okay, every fall I like to take my Groomer into the shop and do a few improvements. This is one I made about 3 or 4 years ago, and this year I stripped her right down, took all the body panels off of it, which is kind of an opportune time to show you the inner workings of the machine. The reason I took the body panels off is I ordered a bunch of this stuff. It's called Dynamat Extreme. It's a butyl-based sound deadener. I found the cab is reasonably quiet, but I'd like to get it a little quieter yet, so I took this stuff and applied it to the inner surfaces of all the body panels to try to get the sound even quieter in there so I can hear my stereo better. This stuff is basically designed to stop the sheet metal from rattling. And I get a bit of that because I got a bit of vibration going on with the two-stroke engine, and there's a lot of sheet metal here, large expanses, so I'm hoping that tones it down a bit. It's fairly expensive stuff. It is also quite heavy, which is one reason I'm kind of hesitant to put it on. I hate to make this machine any heavier than it already is, but I think it's worthwhile having a little quieter, and adding about 30-35 pounds of weight to it shouldn't hurt it too much. So, there it is. I've got the air box removed, the exhaust system removed, so the engine bay looks kind of bare right now. That's a 440 Polaris twin liquid. Transmission is from a Sportsman 700 Polaris quad. That gives me high, low, reverse, neutral. Clutches, belt drive, strip shaft coming out of the tranny. Leads to a 60 O-ring chain which transmits power to the front drop case, which in turn drives the front drive shaft. There is no differential on this. Both tracks drive at the same time. Located on this strip shaft is a hydraulic brake, and that is the brake that's linked to the foot pedal that you normally used. And there's also an emergency brake in the cab, and that's mechanically activates this caliper. Kind of hard to see it in there, but there's a large diameter disc brake in there. The upper chain case shaft. You'll notice two batteries, a large one and a smaller one. The smaller one isn't actually hooked into the system, it's just there fully charged, and I can turn it on anytime I want. In case for some reason out in the trail I run the main battery low. That hasn't happened yet, but that's just a little extra insurance. On the end of the crankshaft I've mounted an additional pulley which drives a 100 amp GM Dilco alternator, because I've got a fair bit of electrical happening in this thing, and the stock system just wasn't enough. Back here is my fuse box. Lots of wiring going on there. That fan there is an engine bay heat evacuator fan. Located on this body panel, which isn't there right now, is a vent. And there's also a vent here in the rear panel, which isn't on. And with that running, it draws the exhaust heat, the clutch heat out of the engine bay and keeps things a little cooler. That's my cat. He likes to hang around here. His name's Puppy, by the way. Some people think that's strange. Oil injection tank, coolant reservoir, overflow tank. Inside this cavity here is a radiator, also with an electric fan. It's thermostatic switch on it, kicks on at 185 degrees. So the cooling system actually amounts to a small heat exchanger in this area of the tunnel, at the rear of the tunnel, and as well as the radiator, and also a cab heater assembly. I'm not sure how many BTU that is, but it does warm things up in the cab pretty good. Those air out of those vents, and a couple more back there, which you can see from the inside. I've got the nose cone off of it right now too, because I'm going to apply some sound insulation to that area. The throttle and brake are both foot feed controls. There's a gas pedal brake, the backside of them. Steering box is located there. That's out of a 1963 John Deere 110 garden tractor. I was a little bit uncertain whether that would stand up to for this application, but so far it's been working well. Front end suspension, that is mainly components out of a mid-90s Arctic Cat Thundercat, but I've modified them quite heavily for this application. Skis are off of a Skidoo Rev. I had Arctic Cat skis on it originally with wide ski skins, but I came upon these skis a couple of years ago and they seem to handle and steer much better. Okay, how long as we're near the front here, I'll show you a view of the underside of it. That there skid plate is made of that heavy puckboard, I believe they call it. Right here is a tow bar that's linked to the main frame. I put that there just in case I ever have to tow it. So far I haven't, thank God. But I didn't want to be pulling this thing on the ski tip, so that one's connected to the main frame assembly. The tracks and suspensions, they're out of mid-90s vintage Polaris SKS snowmobiles, 133.5 by 15-inch tracks. And I'll show you a view of the underside of the rear. That's what she looks like in there. Located centrally is the fuel tank. Keeps the weight fairly low. And what else can I show you? This hitch is actually, I can adjust the height of that with an electric actuator with a switch inside the cab. Got the seat pulled out of the cab right now, so it's looking kind of bare in here. Cup holders. Don't know if anybody recognizes those, but if anybody can figure out what they are from, let me know. I know what they are. If you're a Polaris snowmobile, you'll recognize them. Stereo, your monitor. Let's turn that down. The transmission, long cable operating that as you click. Right now it's in neutral. That's high range. Sorry, that was low range. This is high range. And that's reverse. So, I guess that pretty much shows it all. There's some more pieces that I gotta go back inside it yet. Still waiting for some more sound insulation. That stuff there that I've been using is Dynamat. I've also got something called Dynaliner ordered, which is a foam, and some areas of the nose cone I want to use that stuff. Also probably will put a bit on the underside of the engine hoods. Well, I guess while we're here, I'll show you a view of the inside of my shop. Kind of messy right now. Up there is a sleigh I built last year. Mainly built it for putting signs up on the trail. It's quite big, it's 4 feet by 8 feet. And yeah, the place is kind of a mess, but that's what happens when you work in a place, so I know, I can't keep things tidy. That is the muffler for it. Okay, I guess that concludes our little tour.